We are live.
Okay. Give it a second here to tick over to 7 p.m. and then we'll start. Okay, I call the June 24th Bold School District regular board meeting to order at 7 o'clock p.m. We have 5 members present. Member Benson and Member Peppel are absent tonight. With that, could we please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I so move.
Second.
It's been moved by Member Klaus and seconded by Member Oseth to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we will proceed to vote. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries to approve the agenda. Welcome everyone to the June board meeting. For those online and in person, thank you for attending tonight. We have no one in the room, so I assume that item 5, we don't have anyone wanting to speak at the public forum. So with that, we will move on to item 6 on the on the agenda, which is our consent items, the approving the bills for payment and to approve our May 20th, 24 regular board meeting minutes as enclosure 1 in the packet and online. Is there a motion for the consent items?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Member Bowen and seconded by Member Sheehan to approve the consent items. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote on approving the consent items. All in favor of approving the consent items, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to the consent items. Okay, on to 7. So we have several personnel items on the agenda. So the first one would be to approve the hiring of summer custodial workers, Sadie Gross, Rob Vanderhagen, Nicole Coughlin, and Nadine Johnson. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Member Oseth. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Member Klaus. So moved by Member Oseth and seconded by Member Klaus to approve the hiring of summer custodial workers, Sadie Gross, Rob Vanderhagen, Nicole Coughlin, and Nadine Johnson. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay. Hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote. This will be a voice vote as it's a hiring decision. Member Oseth?
Aye.
Member Bowen?
Aye.
Member Klaus?
Aye.
Member Sheehan?
Aye.
And Member Frank is an aye as well. The motion carries to approve the hiring of the summer custodial workers, Sadie Gross, Rob Vanderhagen, Nicole Coughlin, and Nadine Johnson. Okay, the second item, approve the hiring of summer food service workers, Brooke Traeger, Kristen Young, and Brenda Keller. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Oseth and seconded by Sheehan to approve the hiring of summer food service workers, Brooke Traeger, Kristen Young, and Brenda Keller. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote on that. That'll again be a voice vote. Member Oseth?
Aye.
Member Bowen?
Aye.
Member Klaus?
Aye.
Member Sheehan?
Aye.
And Member Frank is an aye as well, so that passes. Okay, on to item 3, and that's to approve the hiring of summer jumpstart staff. Nicole Baumgartner, Susan Henriksen, Katie West, Tammy Steffel, Rhonda Schmig, Len Ploss, Brent Henriksen, Crystal Bauman, Nancy Manderscheid, and Cheryl Engstrom. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Osseth to approve the hiring of summer jumpstart staff Nicole Baumgartner, Susan Henriksen, Katie West, Tammy Steffel, Rhonda Schmieg, Lynn Ploss, Brent Hendrickson, Crystal Bauman, Nancy Manderscheid, and Cheryl Engstrom. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote. Member Osseth?
Aye.
Member Bowen?
Aye.
Member Klaus?
Aye.
Member Sheehan?
Aye.
And member Frank is an aye as well. Motion carries. On to item number 4, and that's to approve the hiring of summer scanning personnel. Heidi Gross, Joanna Reyna, Tammy Steffel, and Jody Neibauer. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Klaus and seconded by member Osseth to approve the hiring of the summer scanning personnel Heidi Gross, Joanna Reyna, Tammy Steffel, and Jody Neibauer. Is there any discussion? I do have one question. Is the pay rate different for Tammy as she was just approved as a jumpstart staff?
I
To
do
this?
not know that. I can look into that. I think, oh no, this would be a scanning rate.
Okay, so the pay rate would be
It
different.
would be different from her other, yeah.
Okay, and
Sorry, I
then,
misunderstood you.
yeah, so- okay, so then, okay. Any other discussion or questions? Anything else? Any more discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we will proceed to vote to approve the hiring of summer scanning personnel Heidi Gross, Joanna Reyna, Tammy Steffel, and Jody Neibauer. Member Osseth.
Aye.
Member Bowen.
Aye.
Member Klaus.
Aye.
Member Sheehan.
Aye.
And member Frank, I'm an aye as well, so the motion carries. Okay, on to number 5. That's to approve the hiring of Madeline Wilkins as the fall musical vocal/band director for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Sheehan to approve the hiring of Madeline Wilkins as the fall musical vocal/band director for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote on that. Again, a roll call vote. Member Osseth.
Aye.
Member Bowen.
Aye.
Member Klaus.
Aye.
Member Sheehan.
Aye.
And member Frank, I'm an aye as well. The motion carries to approve the hiring of Madeline Wilkins as the fall musical vocal/band director for the 2024-25 school year. Okay. Next item, number 6, to approve Nick Strandberg as the fall musical pianist for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Osseth, seconded by member Bowen to approve Nick Strandberg as the fall musical pianist for the 2025 through 2024 through 2025 school year. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All right, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote on approving Nick Strandberg. Member Osseth,
Aye.
member Bowen,
Aye.
member Klaus,
Aye.
member Sheehan,
Aye.
member Frank, I'm an aye as well. Motion carries to approve Nick Strandberg as the fall musical pianist for the 2024-2025 school year. Number 7, approve Kathy Reese as the fall musical choreographer for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Is there a motion?
I move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by member Klaus and seconded by member Osseth to approve Kathy Reese as the fall musical choreographer for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Is there any discussion by any board members? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay. Hearing no discussion, we will proceed to vote on approving Kathy Reese as the fall musical choreographer for the 2024 through 25 school year. Member Osseth.
Aye.
Member Bowen.
Aye.
Member Klaus.
Aye.
Member Sheehan.
Aye.
And member Frank, I'm an aye as well. Motion carries to approve Kathy Reese as the fall musical choreographer for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Okay, item 8. That would be to approve Brian Kingery as the head volleyball coach for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Klaus to approve Brian Kingery as the head volleyball coach for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Is there any discussion?
Is there any other applicants, or is Brian the only one? that
Only
applied?
applicant.
And I think he knows, I mean, I'm not a volleyball parent, so I don't know any.
Right. He knows enough about coaching and volleyball that he can do it.
Derek's fine with it?
Derek is fine.
Yeah. It's that or not have a program, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Any other discussion, questions? Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Okay. Hearing no other discussion, we'll proceed to vote. To approve Brian Kingery as the head volleyball coach for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Member Oseth.
Aye.
Member Bowen.
Aye.
Member Klaus.
Aye.
Member Sheehan.
Aye.
Member Frank, I'm an aye as well. The motion carries to approve Brian Kingery as the head volleyball coach for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Okay, the next one is to approve the resignation of Brian Kingery, junior high football coach, effective the end of the 2023 through 2024 school year.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Oseth. So you guys were very close. It's chair
That's fine.
discretion.
That's fine.
So it's been moved by member Bowen, seconded by member Oseth to approve the resignation of Brian Kingery, junior high football coach, effective the end of the 2023 through 2024 school year. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote on that resignation, and this can just be as a board together. So all those in favor to approve that resignation of Brian Kingery as the junior high football coach, effective the end of the 23 through 24 school year, say aye. Aye. Oppose? So motion carries to approve the resignation of Brian Kingery, the junior high football coach, effective the end of the 2023-2024 school year. Okay, with that, let's move on to section 8 on the agenda. That's the reports, and we start with our superintendent report by Mr. Meetin.
All right, thank you. Start off with some project updates. I've got a PowerPoint here. We've got, if you were to walk into the boys' locker room, you're going to see no ceiling in there. They've taken all that out. They're getting a lot of stuff ready for wiring and running plumbing. Where we're at for our summer work, the interior demo is at about 90% completion. They're building a new wall in the mechanical room, which is like the art room. And they're about 40% completed with that. At Bird Island, it's probably higher than, this says 75%. It's probably closer to 85% complete now for the painting. The stage flooring is all in at this point. It looks good. They need to put a sealant on top of it, but that's all ready to go. The north bleachers have been removed. We were able to salvage a bunch of wood off of those for projects here in the shop. The lighting, that's going to start in late July. And then the remaining stuff for this part of the project will happen after the musical is done on October, I want to say the 6th.
Is that lighting only in the gym?
Yes, yeah, that's gym lighting, yep. Yeah, let's see, I've seen some of the projects around here, they're underway on the track and field. You'll see outside the demo, it was a sad day when the playground went down. Amy said she was standing outside when 2 young guys came up on their bikes and they just kind of stared and said, "It's gone." So that's sad, and I think it's worth noting that this was a community effort 30 some years ago, and it served its time very well. You'll see the track doesn't have surface on it; it's getting a resurface, and yeah.
And the sub base how much ended up getting repaired?
I couldn't answer that on you. They're resurfacing, of course, the whole thing, and then there are parts that needed a lot of work, and there are
Yeah.
parts that didn't need any work. So
I didn't know if you had like an approximate percentage.
I don't. I could find that out if
They
you like
reclaimed
to.
most of the track. They put it down and that's what they use it for the subways.
Oh,
So they had a machine came and reclaimed it. We basically ground it up.
Yeah.
And that's what you saw. And I see now a grader or maintainer, depending on what you want to call it, sitting in the parking lot. So I assume that he's gonna come over and start the final grading on the track.
okay.
Let's see. The upcoming projects. We've got some interior walls that are still going up. There's one in the cafeteria to separate the new water softeners. Electrical and plumbing all over the place. We did have an issue for a little while that's been resolved. We were worried we were going to have to close down the pool and the kitchen because of no hot water, but they just today figured out that we're going to kind of reorganize how we're placing the water heater in the boiler room, and we're going to be able to actually run all of the plumbing and get it switched over. So there might be 2 days where we don't have water, and later in July, but that's a far cry from that. We were kind of worried we might lose about 15 to 20 days. So very happy about that. Let's see. Yeah, as I mentioned, the water softener and brine tanks will go behind that wall you see up there. Let's see, they're demoing the new and installing the new water heaters, storage tanks, site work. We're going to see a new exit out of the parking lot. That'll be the second exit. That'll be nice for traffic flow, especially at the end of the school day where you see parents lining up, and they're lined up all the way into the road to pick up their kid, and it'll make a much easier egress out of the lot, much safer. And then we've got electrical switch gear. We're hoping that gets in October, and then switchover will be soon after that. If there are ongoing questions on the project, email them to me, and I can write them down and make sure I get them to you. A lot of this I won't have an answer off the top of my head, so little heads up would be awesome. The next thing I have is the website. The actual website itself is nearly ready to go live. It probably could go live right now. It's just a few little tweaks that we're trying to do. If you look on my screen, this is my iPad. In the bottom here, I've got this app. I can't really. Can you see right? It's got the warrior head on it there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can go now to the App Store and search for Bold Public School, and you'll find our new Bold app. It gets updated as the web page gets updated, and it'll be a little hard to read up there, but it's basic. It's to get information out. It's not about lots of pictures and brightness. It's about what are we having for lunch? What's on the schedule for today? You can get, if you click the little more button, you can get all the information you'd want to know. You can just look at the live feed, which is stuff that we've been putting up quite a while ago. If you can look at just what activities are happening, and this actually schedules out. I'm going to combine this with the sports, by the way. Activities and athletics should be together. But these you can see go all the way out to as far out as we have anything planned. So if you want to know when the blood drive is, it's October 11th and 12th. We've got staff. You can contact staff up on here. If you need to get a hold of D Knight, you don't hit D Knight. You touch, and you can. Right now, it's got call or email up there. The call isn't working quite right, but email will just right away pop it up in your phone, and you can send an email. Maybe. Oh. See how easy it is?
And that's searchable for in like a last name or first name or a grade level or
Yeah,
a subject.
That's a great question. Yes, so you can search, do a name search. So if you want to find me, just put my name in there. Oh, that's because I'm on my iPad. So then it comes up.
Type superintendent once and see what comes up, Jim.
There we go. I didn't know it did that, so there we
I
go.
thought it would, but I wasn't positive.
I did upload all that information for everyone, so that's perfect. Our master calendar is going to look a lot like the activities calendar. The way I have it set up right now is it's all going to the same spot. It's taking feeds from different locations, putting them all in one spot. I think it's the easiest. People want to see what's happening today. So, and then last there's missed documents and dining. Dining will show whatever's for lunch that given day, and documents. There's links to all kinds of documents on here. The district office, you can find anything you can on the regular website. All of our policies are on here. So that's all good to go.
I think that app will get used up quite a bit.
I think so. There's not a lot of fluff. It's just what do you need to know. And then, and last, you can go to the Infinite Campus from there. And teachers can log in. There's a separate one for staff and then parents.
So is there a, say for prospective employees, or they want to fill out an application, is that on here or through here?
Yeah, you probably wouldn't get them through this part of the app. You will from the regular website. This is anyone can download this.
Yep.
But you'd have to download this first to your phone and then search for the application. You could do it, but I don't think we would. The people who download this app are going to be the regular users of it. But it would certainly be searchable for someone that did have it.
Okay.
Have it, yeah. All right. The LCTN is the group that we have been going through for our internet and a lot of that support. We have been in the process for this last year of switching over to the Southwest Service Co-op as the LCTN disbands. The former executive director of the LCTN is bringing a lawsuit against the group, as well as the law firm representing that group. The superintendents are going to get together here on Thursday and just discuss strategies. What are some of the ramifications? But we don't expect there to be any concerns about liability to individual school districts. But just in case, I did alert Paul Johannes and let him know that there's a potential for a lawsuit here. So he didn't seem very concerned either. So. All right.
Okay.
And then talking about Paul Johannes. So our insurance, we've been struggling to get the property and casualty insurance figured out. We did get a quote today. When we go to, I'll talk a little bit about it when we go to vote on it. We may want to talk about allowing me to have a little bit of time and then pick the best option, because as you're going to see, it's got a pretty huge deductible. So when that comes up, we'll talk about that. And I told you about the hot water heaters being installed, so I don't have anything else.
Okay. Let's move on to item B, the K through 12 principal report. That is enclosure 2 in your packet. Are there any questions on the K through 12 principal report? I'll just point out that we ended the school year with 12 more students across K through 12 than we did at the start of the school year, which is significant.
That's good.
So, any other questions or comments? Okay, let's move on then to activities report. That's enclosure 3 in the packet. So we're item C under our reports. Any questions?
I was impressed with that grant application so as to make all athletic activities available to all of our students so that there's someone saying, oh, I can't go because I don't have money.
Mhm.
So it's a nice
That'd be great,
inclusion
yeah.
process.
Yeah, we were glad to hear that.
Do we know if that grant has gone through yet?
I haven't heard anything else from him about it, but I believe it's going to go through.
Okay.
So Derek had mentioned in his last sentence that it's in there to make sure there's no concerns or things brought up. Does anyone have any concerns or potential issues you see with this? Okay.
No, I think the premise of it is great.
Yeah.
You want to get your students involved. If you can get rid of a hurdle, that'd be great.
Yep.
And this way they'll all feel welcome.
Mhm.
Okay.
The part 3 of this where they've got participation in the MSHSL activities, is there any indication why participation in the 11th grade is significantly lower than all of the other classes? No particular reason?
I don't know either.
It's just
More kids doing activities.
Less kids
There are less kids doing
it's
activities than there
actually that's
I think it just
low.
happened. I think, yeah.
They were kind of the COVID years there. I mean, they all went through COVID, of course, but that was, I don't know if that had something to do with it. We did see that a lot of kids in a lot of schools, things like marching bands really suffered because kids stayed at home all summer long and then realized, oh, that was kind of nice. And so a lot of things like that kind of fell by the
I'm
wayside.
sure you get peer pressure to belong and peer pressure to not belong.
That happens too.
But yeah, it's not just our school. There's quite a few of the schools, for some reason, the class that'll graduate this year, the next year's class will have little to no participants from a given class.
Okay. Any other comments, questions on the activities report? And again, sorry, give me a second here. Derek's always available for, to email a question too and ask if anything comes up, and he might have some insight on your question. So go ahead and feel free to email it, Mary.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's then move on to item D under reports, our community education report. That's enclosure 4 in the packet. So there it's talking about the preschool tuition rates that were set by the Community Education Advisory Board, as well as discussion on costs with busing. And then talking about the finances on all the different summer youth camps, as well as the summer YMCA program. So it looks like they're still searching for a part-time employee as well.
Yeah, it's been hard to fill those positions. So, but if somebody's looking for it, it's about a half-time position. I shouldn't say that. That particular, I'm not sure how many hours that is, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
And then I'll also put a plug in for the 55 plus adult fitness class. That's Tuesday and Thursdays at 9:30 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. on the Rhode Island campus, going through the end of this month. So it's about to wrap up. That's out there too. So it's not just the young kids, it's beyond that. So anything else on the community ed report? Okay, let's move on then to item E, our pool report, enclosure 5 from Tracy Johnson. Any questions, concerns on the pool report?
No concerns. I have been at the pool and just have a few comments because I know it came from a pool committee a few months ago. I have swam. Pool temp is definitely better. It is not frigid. And I very much appreciate that. And I did lap swimming and it's not too hot to be a lap swimmer in there. Also, I attended some preschool swim lessons. I have a grandson in there. And it was nice to see the staff that worked there. They worked together very well. Also, our pool director was available for parents and making comments and welcoming people. So it was a very nice environment to see.
Any other comments or questions? And again, Tracy's always available to email and ask as well if something comes up. Okay, let's move on to our part F, our facilities report, which is enclosure 6 in the packet. Any questions on that? Any questions or comments by the board? Okay, hearing no questions or comments, we will move on to item G, our school board committee reports, which are none unless someone has met as a committee is met. Well, there was a committee for the goals, but we'll have that later. So as part of the minute, I know that group met. So with that, we will move on to section 9, our new business on the agenda. So the first item will be item A, our third and final reading of policy 306, Administrator Code of Ethics, which is enclosure 7 in the packet. Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Klaus to approve the third reading of policy 306, Administrator Code of Ethics, as published in the board packet and online. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we will proceed to vote. All members in favor of approving policy 306, Administrator Code of Ethics as published in the board packet and online, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries. We have passed policy 306, Administrator Code of Ethics. Okay. Item B is the second reading of policy 203.6 consent agendas. That's enclosure 8 in the packet. So this would be up for voting on for final approval at the next meeting. So any discussion on policy 203.6? So there's nothing, no action required here. Okay. If you have something, bring it forward to any member of the policy committee and try to do that at least a week ahead of next month's meeting so that they have time to review and get it put in place for the meeting. Okay. Let's move on to item C. That would be our second reading of policy 206. That's the public participation in school board meetings, complaints about persons at school board meetings, and data privacy considerations. Enclosure number 9 in the packet. So again, same thing. This would be brought up for a vote at our next meeting. And again, review it. If you have something, bring it up to one of the policy committee members, please. Okay, anything else on 206 or at all? Okay. Then we will now move on to item D. This is going to be our first and final reading of policy 212, school board member development. And this contains a minor update. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
So it's been moved by member Klaus and seconded by member Sheehan to approve policy 212, school board member development, which contains a minor update. And I'll just give a quick background being on the policy committee. This policy just has the one minor change in A and then just 2 cross references added to it. And our policy, that's the policy of policies, allows us to approve at one meeting a policy if it has minor changes to it. And this qualifies under minor changes. So that's why it's a first reading and up for vote tonight. Any questions or discussion? Any questions or discussion? Any questions or discussion? Okay. Hearing no more questions or discussion, we'll proceed to vote on approving policy 212, school board member development. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries to accept policy 212, school board member development, as in our board packet and published online. Okay. We are now on to item E. That's our first reading of policy 213, school board committees. That's enclosure 11 in the packet. So this would be up at our August meeting for final approval. So any discussion at tonight's meeting on policy 213 as proposed? Any comments? Any comments? Okay. With that, we'll move on to item F, and that'll be our first reading of policy 406. That's the public and private personnel data. That's enclosure 12 in our packet and also published online. Again, this is one that would be approved at our August 2024 meeting with a third reading. And so this has a lot of major revisions to it. Any comments or questions at this point on policy 406? Okay. Hearing none, then we will proceed to move on to item G. And this is our first reading of policy 524, internet technology and cell phone acceptable use and safety policy. That's enclosure 13 in the packet. Again, this is a policy that would be up for voting at our August meeting. I will note on this policy, the legislature passed a thing on each school district with cell phone usage. And as it happens, we have an update in here that reflects that, and that gives, in the policy, it gives us the leeway through the policy, assuming it's approved, that we put it in the hands of the administration of the district to put together the cell phone policy that aligns with the student handbook and other policies we have in place. So, and then that would put us in compliance in March 2025 when something has to be in place. So, any other questions on 524? Okay. With that, then let's move on to H, which is our first reading of policy 403. That's the discipline, suspension, and dismissal of school district employees. So this would be a new adopted policy for the district that we currently do not have. In policy 524 that we just looked at, it gives cross-reference to policy 403. And I think this is a significant enough policy that it needs to be brought forward and considered by the school board to put in place.
It really doesn't change anything. This is basically how we've done everything.
Correct, but it puts it in formal writing.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's not a change to how things have been handled, but it puts it in writing and it's a policy it should have already been in place, but wasn't. So, okay, so take time to look through that, please. Okay, any other questions on that before we move on? Okay, let's then move on to item I. That's our first reading of policy 606. That's textbooks and instructional materials, enclosure 15 in the packet and online. And this falls under the same scenario as 403. It's referred to in policy 524. We didn't have it in place, and it is one that I recommend we put in place as part of the cross-reference to policy 524, especially knowing that so much of the instructional material is online now and not a textbook per se. So take time to look that over. And this again will be a new policy for the district that doesn't currently exist at the district level. Okay, let's then, anything else on policies? I want to make sure before we move on, we're covered. Okay, let's move on then. Item J. So this is the review of the fiscal year 25 LTFM proposed budget to be approved at the July 22nd, 2024 school board meeting. And there's not an enclosure number, but it's, I'm calling it enclosure 15.5 since it falls after enclosure 15. And Amy, did this also get put online in the packet?
If that's not, I just got kind of like.
Okay, can you make sure that goes up online for the community to see?
Yep.
And I would call it enclosure 15.5 online.
Okay.
Okay. Again, this is one that we'll look at and approve at the next meeting. So Jim, do you have anything or Amy that you want to bring up concerning the LTFM proposed budget at this point?
I guess the only thing I would say is that we're still kind of in limbo with the project. Once we get a better picture of what everything is, what all our needs are going to be, we're going to end up revising this considerably.
So we can do a revised and submit to the state?
If we need to revise it during the, I don't think we'll need to revise it during the year, but yeah, we could do that.
Okay. Any questions by anyone on the LTFM plan proposal? Okay, hearing no discussion, we will move on to item K, and that is to approve the fiscal year 25 proposed budget. That's enclosure 16 in the packet. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, it's been moved by member Klaus and seconded by member Oseth to approve the fiscal year 25 proposed budget. Is there any discussion? So I would have one question, primarily on the food service fund.
Okay.
Are we going to be in a more, I don't know how to phrase this except to say, will we have more certainty going into this upcoming year on funding with the provided lunches and the state relative to this last year? There was a lot of uncertainty on the funding.
I think they're going to be much better at it this year than what we were given this for this year. But there's always that uncertainty with the state where you don't necessarily know what they're going to do. They might give us money back this year for expenditures 2 years ago. So I can't make a guarantee on that, but I think that they've gotten their legs underneath them a little bit, and I feel that they're going to do a better job of keeping us informed here.
Okay. Do you expect the revenues to balance out a little closer to the expenditures
Yes.
than what's proposed?
Yeah.
Any other questions by anyone? Amy?
Can I add something about the food service?
Yes.
Also, Since we did the revised budget, the last go around, we've also gotten all our breakfast funding money, that previously had to come in, and so things are leveling up closer to even.
Too even. Okay. Was there any explanation why the breakfast funding portion was so delayed in coming in?
My understanding is that there was a delay in how they were funding it at the state level. That was my understanding.
Okay. So we'll end up likely closing that $61,000 deficit sum as well then.
We should be much closer, yes.
Okay. Any other questions by anyone?
Hopefully by September, I can give you an update on that as well.
And the pool's still in limbo.
A little bit.
Okay, any other discussion before we proceed to vote on this?
Since Brian brought up the pool, we are doing busing during the summer here. So we're sending a bus out to Lake Lily and Bird Island to try to get kids easy access to using the pool. So
What is the response been for that?
there's 5 or 6.
I assume we're using a smaller bus,
That's all on Superior, whatever they want to send
just
out.
whatever they're sending. Okay. So, okay. Any other discussion or questions on the fiscal year 25 proposed budget before we move to vote on it? Any other questions or discussion? Any other questions or discussion? Okay. Let's proceed to vote on approving the fiscal year 25 proposed budget as enclosure 16 in our packet and published online. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries to approve the fiscal year 25 proposed budget as published in the board packet and online. Okay. Item L, so this would be to approve the bold 2534 school board goals, enclosure 17 in our packet. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? It's been moved by member Osseth and seconded by member Bowen to approve the bold 2534 school board goals. Is there any discussion?
When we look at the section of recruitment and retention, the third bullet point that says focus on staff recognition, we put a discussion item in there. Can that be part of a principal's report versus just being a school board goal?
Just little things that they've done, like we talked about, you said the donuts and things that you did for
Sure.
certain events, just to let the people know that they're being recognized, and
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
because you guys do a lot of good stuff. Might as well let them know what you're doing.
Could we amend the second one under that to say bold community websites and social media and administrative reports? And that would cover that under the second one in the promotion.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll strike the third bullet point under recruitment and retention, and we'll add under the second and administrative reports. Okay. Any other discussion on the goals?
We also had discussion on the fourth bullet point, conduct exit interviews and performance reviews of staff, that was something that was already being done, but that's administrative, not school board. So do we need that on there as a school board? Or should that be left to administration?
Yeah, it's not typically information we would bring to the board because a lot of it is, it could have to do with job performance or things like that too. So
Protected confidential information. employee performance. Yeah.
But it certainly could be an expectation that we're doing this.
We
Okay.
just wanted it brought up for discussion to see
Yeah.
where everyone's sits on that.
And I would assume that we could strike that and maybe include that also under the administrative reports of 2, in that maybe things that come out in generality from those are brought forward to the board that have significance, that,
Yeah, either way.
that protects the confidentiality like we need to, and still allows communication to occur and transparency to occur where we, as best as you can under, when you're working with confidential data, you want to learn from that. So you're not gonna make that where you can't give a detailed report of it, so to speak. So we'll just strike number 4 as well under the recruitment and retention. Okay. Anything else when you went through as a committee on the board goals? Okay. Any other discussion on the goals? Any other discussion? Okay. So let's move to vote on school board goals, but under recruitment and retention, we're striking the 3rd and 4th bullet points and adding under 2 and administrative reports.
Todd, can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Do we need to get these stated as a SMART goal so we know how they're being measured, some of these? Or is that a separate session?
We can follow up with that as a separate session, or we could table this if you want and build that in, Mariella. And it could be then brought back at the next board meeting for approval with the SMART aspects to it.
I look at, for instance, the first category, your second bullet point, work to increase academic achievement. How do we measure that? How do we know that we're at point A, we want to get to point B? How do we know that just based on this goal? So that's where a SMART goal would be helpful, is how are we measuring that to know that we're making gains or we're not making gains, and what do we need to do to improve that? I don't know where the rest of the board members are at with that. I'm used to working with a SMART goal as a teacher.
Does everyone know what a SMART goal is, or what that means?
Nope.
Mariella, you want to?
When a SMART goal, basically you're saying, we want this to happen. We're starting at 65%, we want to get our kids to 80. How are we going to measure that? What test are we measuring? Is it the MCA? Is it the FAST test? Whatever test the district is using. How do we know we're making that? How do we know we're making gains?
They're called SMART goals. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable,
relevant, or
attainable.
attainable.
Don't you just use your stats from your test that you take?
That doesn't tell me this. I mean, as a common lay person, I would say, yeah, that's what I would do.
So
But
we
do
would say
we know that?
utilizing the 2020 through 2023 as our base data or something would make it a SMART goal.
Or is that more something that should be developed by the teachers and the admin? That's my goal, and this is just overarching.
Could we have the admin put together a SMART goal?
Based on this,
Based
yes.
on this?
Yes.
I don't want to be a micromanager of the teachers and the admin. But I would like to know, are we making those gains as a board member?
Yeah.
And as
So
We can do that as a,
The second sentence in that thing, use student performance data to measure effectiveness of programs, is too broad.
It is, because what are you using to measure it?
Well, it says read act criteria and other programs, so we need to put something more specific in that.
I know what she's getting at, and I think we can put together something as an administrative team, working with teachers you'll like it. It'll be pretty.
Sounds good.
And then the influence on us is this, once we start to see that data or that information, that should help us. It should help us form our opinions on where we want to maybe direct funding into, as we're looking to hire positions, where we want to focus areas on hiring positions in the future, possibly to have that direct impact on the students in our district. Okay, any other questions, comments? Any other questions or comments on the board goals? Okay, with that, then, I assume we're okay as is to move forward and vote on this. Okay, so let's proceed then to vote on the school board goals for the 2024 through 2025 school year, as published in our packet and online in enclosure 17, with the change under recruitment and retention to strike the third and fourth bullet points, and under the second bullet point, add and administrative reports. All in favor of approving the goals, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries to approve the goals. Okay, with those changes on the recruitment and retention. So that will get published. And let's also make sure that goes up on the website or the board goals as a under the
We got it.
where it needs to go and for the public to see. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thanks to the committee for taking the time to work through that and come with a condensed version. So that's appreciated. Okay, item M. That's to approve the 2024 through 2025 ECFE school readiness tuition rates. A 3-year-old tuition of $93 a month for full tuition, $63 for reduced tuition, and $33 for free tuition. $30 for busing a month. And the 4-year-old tuition will be $165 a month for full tuition, $125 to reduced lunch tuition, $85 for free lunch tuition, and busing rate of $55 a month. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Sheehan and seconded by member Bowen to approve the 2024 through 2025 EC on those rates.
The difference between the 3 and the 4-year-old program is that the 4-year-olds attend more frequently than a 3-year-old, or?
No, they just take more planning, I think, and more upkeep.
Are the 4-year-olds there for more time during the day than the 3-year-olds, or is it the same?
Amy, do you know, are they there they're there the whole day, aren't they?
No, they're a half day, but Monday through Thursday, they're more time they spend more time in the classroom than 3-year-olds. 3-year-olds go 2 days a week, and 4-year-olds, I think, go 4.
4 days a week, so it's twice
That was
the
question.
amount of, yeah. I was thinking that's what you were asking, but I wasn't certain either, so, okay. Any other questions, clarifications, concerns on item M? Any other questions? Any other discussion? Okay, let's move then to approve the 2024 through 2025 ECFE school readiness tuition rates as published on the agenda and which is in the packet and online. All members in favor of those tuition rates for the ECFE school readiness, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries, and we approve the 2024 through 2025 ECFE school readiness tuition rates. The 3-year-old tuition rate of $93 a month full tuition, $63 for reduced tuition, $33 for free tuition, with $30 for busing a month, and the 4-year-old tuition rate of $165 a month for full tuition, $125 for reduced lunch tuition, $85 for free lunch tuition, and busing at $55 a month. Okay, on to item N. That's to approve the 2024 through 2025 school musical admission prices, where students in grades K through 12, the single ticket of $5, and adults single ticket of $10, and a 3-day admission at $25.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Klaus to approve the 2024 through 2025 school musical admission prices as published in the board packet agenda and online in the agenda. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay. Hearing no discussion, we will proceed to vote on that. All members in favor to approve the 2024 through 25 school musical admission prices for students grades K through 12 at $5 for a single ticket, the adults at $10 for a single ticket, and $25 for a 3-day admission, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries. We've approved the 2024 through 25 school musical admission prices. Okay. On to item O, that's to approve the SFY 2025 application for Special Education Fund Statement of Assurances. That's enclosure 18 in our packet. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Oseth and seconded by member Bowen to approve the SFY 2025 application for Special Education Fund Statement of Assurances. Any discussion on that? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote on approving the SFY 2025 application for Special Education Fund Statement of Assurances. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to approve the SFY 2025 application for special education funds. Okay. Let's now move on to P. That's to approve the workers' compensation insurance vendor, SFM, for the 2024 through 2025 school year. And that's an action. So is there a motion?
Motion?
To approve the workers' comp insurance vendor, which is SFM, for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Okay, member Sheehan makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
And there's a second by member Bowen. So it's been moved by member Sheehan and seconded by member Bowen to approve the workers' comp insurance vendor, which is SFM, for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Is there any discussion?
Is this the same company we've used before?
Yes, we've been using them this year. Yeah.
Are the rates increased or?
Everything went up a little bit this year, but not. The workman's comp. Amy, did it go up?
$394.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
minimum.
nothing.
Annually,
Yeah.
so basically a little over $1 a day. Okay. Any other discussion or questions on the workers' comp insurance vendor SFM approval? Any questions or discussion? Any questions or discussion? Okay, let's proceed to vote. All in favor to approve the workers' compensation insurance vendor SFM for the 2024 through 2025 school year, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries to approve the workers' compensation insurance vendor SFM for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Okay. We are now on to Q on the agenda. Approve the property and casualty vendor for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Yeah, is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by member Klaus and seconded by member Oseth to approve the property and casualty vendor for the 2024 through 2025 school year. I assume there's some discussion, Jim?
Yes, there
You
is some
have-
discussion on this one. Our main insurance agency, Paul Johannes let me know that they were dropping us at the time from all of their lines, but they did give us everything back except for the property and casualty, which sounds great, but this is pretty important because we have a lot of property. We did just today at the very end of the workday get a quote in from Hanover, which is one of the other big school insurers in the area, and they actually give us a policy that is about $60,000 less than our annual premium currently. However, I think we've got a $5,000 deductible right now, and it goes up to 2% of our cost, our
Value.
value. Yeah. So like a claim, a hail claim would be about $175,000 deductible. So we checked to see if there's any kind of gap insurance coverage, and there isn't for property casualty. We talked about maybe we go with this, and then we take that $60,000 savings. Maybe at the end of the year, we put that away in an assigned fund specifically for if we have to pay off
insurance payment or
Yeah.
deductible. When does the current policy expire?
Sunday.
This coming Sunday.
Yeah. Paul is looking into the possibility of an extension, but that would be 30 days at best, and they wouldn't have any reason to come back at the same premium. So I would like to give this a day or two to find out what we can learn about this, and
So who establishes the value of what they're insuring? Is that by audit? Or is that by you giving them the numbers to say building's worth X many dollars?
yeah, it's kind of by both of that.
Well, just to make sure that, when you're insuring something, one of the most important things you can do is make sure you have the values
Right.
halfway right, because if you're under, you're not gonna get compensated, and if you're over, then you're paying more than you have to.
Right. No, that makes sense. We haven't analyzed that at all recently, so I would say that with everything we've been doing with the facility studies, I think we probably know fairly closely what it is. I don't have any numbers off the top of my head, of course, but
How often do you use this? Or have we had to use it in the last 10 years?
well, remember the swimming pool? That was a big one. That's killing us right now. The swimming pool, that combined with the fact that we're starting a construction project, and combined with the fact that we have an aged facility, schools are being dropped all over the state.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we've been able to get back most of that is nice, but we're gonna be up against this wherever we go, I think, right now, so we can get things a little back to normal.
I'm just wondering if you decide to go with it and take a chance that you get to keep that extra 60,000, what are the odds that you don't have to use it?
Well, we'd essentially be just self-insuring at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And there are ways you can work towards self-insuring a school. Amy and I were talking about this earlier today. But that takes years to get to. And it's basically doing just that, building up a reserve fund.
Yep.
And I think that's the way to go.
So what's the total cost of their loss?
Amy, do you have they didn't send it to me. They sent it to Amy. Amy, do you have
the cost of the premium was about just under $136,000.
Okay, so the 60 grand is pretty significant part of the 100.
Yeah, it was about 60. What was the actual, Amy?
Over what we paid this year.
Yeah,
This year it was a difference of almost 140 or 40,000.
40,000. Okay. But yeah, if we take that, I don't know, that's the deal with insurance.
Well, like
Mhm.
Brian
Right,
talked
Wayne,
about your history, I mean, all insurance company has their loss runs in the past.
Mhm.
So that's not that really hard to find out.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've given them all of that. Guess I'd like to see if we could get a couple days out of this, just to see what Paul Johannes is able to put together for us.
So we just
We're gonna
table
have
it
to-
for now.
Well, I don't know what you would
The
do.
end
Would you
date's
table
coming
it?
pretty soon.
Yeah,
And
well,
then
I get that, but
I'm gonna have to sign something here on Thursday or Friday.
Um,
Or do we just go
What
with?
we should do is change the motion to give Jim approval to move forward with the best option.
Yeah, I could consult with Brad. Clearly, you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Is-
How about can we change that motion to something like that?
So I'll entertain an amendment to the motion to strike it as original and replace with approve the superintendent to pursue a property and casualty vendor for the 2024 through 2025 school year with direction from member ASA. Is there so that would be the amendment. Is there a member who wants to make that motion for the amendment?
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll
so
second.
member Bowen has moved to amend the main motion as I previously stated, and member Klaus has seconded that. So is there any discussion on the amendment, which is to strike the original motion and replace it with to approve the superintendent to acquire a property and casualty vendor for the 2024 through 2025 school year with direction from member ASA. Any more discussion on that?
So we would have no gap in coverage then.
Yeah, because they would take action and before the end of the week.
And you'll just text us with what
Yeah, I'll email it out.
or email, text. Yeah. You can get a message. Sorry.
Yeah, I think having a gap is not acceptable. It's obviously,
No,
we
we
know
don't.
that's not
No,
acceptable.
we can't do it.
And I would also advocate that this is a stopgap for 1 year, I hope. But we'll need to be very proactive and I think look to seek many more options for the following year and work on that ahead of time so we have some possibilities.
Sounds good.
Okay. Any other discussion on the amendment? The motion? Any other discussion on the amendment? Okay, with that, we'll proceed to vote on the amendment to the motion on the property and casualty vendor. All in favor of that amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, the amendment passes. So now we need to vote on the main motion, which essentially, well, it is the amendment on approving the superintendent to pursue a property and casualty vendor for the 2024 through 25 school year in consultation with member Asaf. Is there any discussion on that main motion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of approving that main motion, which was a strike of the original and replaced, say aye. Aye. Oppose? The motion carries. All right. Item R, that is to authorize the business manager and/or superintendent to sign all activity account contracts and approve blanket coverage for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Is there a motion? Member Frank will make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Frank and seconded by member Bowen to authorize the business manager and/or superintendent to sign all activity account contracts and approve blanket coverage for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? This is just an annual item we need to do, just so everyone's aware. Any discussion? Okay. Hearing no more discussion, we'll proceed to vote on R, which is to authorize business manager and/or superintendent to sign all activity account contracts and approve blanket coverage for the 2024 through 25 school year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. All right. On to the last page of the agenda. Item S, designate the Renville County Register as the 2024 through 2025 official school newspaper.
So moved.
Is there a second? It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Asaf to designate the Renville County Register as the 2024 through 2025 official school newspaper. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor to designate the Renville County Register as the 2024 through 25 official school newspaper, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries. Okay, on to item T. That is to approve Bold Musical Boosters for a dinner theater production fundraiser at Max's Grill on July 24th, 2024 at 7:00 p.m. Is there a motion? Moved by member Asaf. Is there a second? Seconded by member Klaus to approve Bold Musical Boosters for a dinner theater production fundraiser at Max's Grill on July 24th, 2024. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote on that Bold Musical Boosters fundraiser. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? The motion carries to approve the Bold Musical Boosters for a dinner theater production fundraiser at Max's Grill on July 24th, 2024. Okay, item U. That's to approve a MOU, which is Memorandum of Understanding for Nancy Yonke to pay out up to 7 days of unused PTO. That's enclosure 19 in our packet. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Sheehan to approve a MOU for Nancy Yonke to pay out up to 7 days of unused PTO. Is there any discussion?
Does this happen normally?
It doesn't normally happen, but this year has been a very busy year. And I would say both Amy and Nancy have missed out on a lot of vacation time. Nancy had a day last week where it was a vacation day and then she had to spend half of it here. So I thought, let's offer this up to 7 days. If she took off the rest of this week, it would be not good.
Okay,
Well, it's just something they're entitled to eventually, anyhow, right?
any other discussion? Any other discussion or questions? Okay. Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote on approving a MOU for Nancy Yonke to pay out up to 7 days of unused PTO. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries to approve the MOU for Nancy Yankee to pay out up to 7 days of unused PTO. Okay, item V. That is to approve a MOU for Amy Schmidt to pay out up to 7 days of unused PTO. That's enclosure 20 in our packet.
I'll second that.
Okay, so it's been moved by member Klaus and seconded by member Asa to approve a MOU for Amy Schmidt to pay out up to 7 days of unused PTO. Any discussion?
Same scenario.
Okay. Any discussion or questions? Any discussion? Okay. Hearing no discussion, we will move to vote on that approval of the MOU for Amy Schmidt to pay out up to 7 days of unused PTO. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries to approve a MOU for Amy Schmidt to pay out up to 7 days of unused PTO. Okay. Item W, that's to approve the Renville County Public Health Early Childhood Screening Agreement. That's action needed. It's enclosure 22 in the packet. So this would be a resolution, so I will read that. Or no,
It's 23.
They get backwards.
Mhm.
they got backwards. That should be enclosure 23. Okay. So that would have been this document that everyone has. Okay. So I need a motion to approve the Renville County Public Health Earlyhood Child Screening Agreement, which is enclosure 23.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Sheehan to approve the Renville County Public Health Early Childhood Screening Agreement. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? So this is an annual agreement we do, is my understanding.
It is, and if they would write it a little bit differently, which they're gonna do next year, you won't even have to see it.
Okay. Any discussion or questions? Any discussion or questions? Okay, let's proceed then to vote on approving the Renville County Public Health Earlyhood Child Screening Agreement. That's enclosure 23 in our packet and online. All members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Okay, on to X, which is to approve the student activity fees for the 2024 through 2025 school year. That would be $80 per sport for junior high, $50 for fine arts, and $80 per person junior high for musical. Then for senior high, $110 per sport, $80 for fine arts, and $110 for the musical, with a family cap of $375 for athletic fees, $165 for fine arts, and $175 for the musical.
So
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Oseth and seconded by member Bowen to approve the student activity fees for the 2024 through 25 school year as published in the agenda, in the packet and online. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no more discussion or none at all, we will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries to approve the student activity fees for the 2024 through 2025 school year as published in the board packet and online. Okay. We are now on to 10, and that's to adopt a resolution recognizing outstanding student achievement. That's enclosure
21.
21. And where did I do with that? Okay, I'm sorry. So I will read the resolution. Member Klaus introduced the following resolution and moved its adoption. A resolution to recognize outstanding achievement. Whereas the School Board of Independent School District number 2534 adopted a resolution on June 24th, 2024 to recognize outstanding student achievement by its students. Whereas the Bold Boys golf participant Grant Farr participated at the MSHSL State Golf Tournament. Whereas the Bold Girls golf participant Kenna Henriksen, second place, and Allison Cadleck participated at the Minnesota State High School State Golf Tournament. Whereas Bold BLHS 4x100 meter relay team of Jack Gross, Hudson Vasica, Chase Huben, and Gabe Bergstrom competed at the Minnesota State High School League State Track Competition. Whereas Bold BLHS long jump athlete of Jack Gross competed at the MSHSL State Track Competition. The school board commends you on your hard work and dedication to your sport, team, program, and school. The motion for the adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly seconded by member Bowen, and vote being taken thereon, the following voted in favor thereof. Member Oseth.
Aye.
Member Bowen.
Aye.
Member Klaus.
Aye.
Member Sheehan.
Aye.
Member Frank, I am an aye. Hold on. And members Benson and Peppel were absent. And the resolution was declared adopted. Congratulations to those athletes. Okay, we are now on to section 11. That's to adopt a resolution to acknowledge our gifts and accept gifts, grants, and bequests. And that's enclosure 22 in our packet. So I will read the resolution. Member Oseth introduced the following resolution and moved its adoption. Whereas Corteva Community Betterment has generously donated $3,000 for the purchase of a farm bot to the Bold FFA/agriculture program. Therefore, be it resolved by the Bold School Board to gratefully accept these gifts. The motion for adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly seconded by member Sheehan. And upon vote being taken thereon, the following voted in favor thereof. Member Oseth.
Aye.
Member Bowen.
Aye.
Member Klaus.
Aye.
Member Sheehan.
Aye.
And member Frank, I am an aye as well. And the following voted against is no one. And the members absent were members Peppel and Benson. Foregoing resolution was approved this 24th day of June, 2024. Okay. Upcoming date. So our next board meeting will be 7:00 p.m. here in the district office on July 22nd. So that will come up awful quick here. And I don't think there's any other upcoming dates. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
I saw it.
Second? It's been moved by member Klaus and seconded by member Sheehan to adjourn. Any discussion? Discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carries to adjourn at 8:28 p.m.
That's a lot of stuff.